So now into Promising Young Woman, and we'll see how that all plays out in this film. Okay, we're going to start by looking at just the action and character lines. And we're going to start with some easy questions to sort of lay out the parameters of the structure. So the first question we're going to look at is, what is the point of attack? The event that begins the story we've been brought in to see. How about this one? Cassie meets Ryan. Then the next question is, which storyline does it function on? Does it function on the action or the character storyline? Considering that Ryan shows up in Cassie's life to challenge her assumptions, definitely. He's challenging her assumptions because her assumptions by this point are, all men are jerks, and untrustworthy, basically. So therefore, I put it on the character line. Cassie meets Ryan.
Whisper something in your ear.
Can I get a coffee, please?
You want milk? What?
Cassandra?
Yeah?
Ryan. Cooper, we were in class together at Forest Med School. Second year neurology, Dr. Hadid's class.
Oh, yeah. Ryan, hi.
God, why are you working here? Or, I didn't mean, that was rude. I didn't.
You didn't mean, what am I doing working in a shitty coffee shop?
Yeah, no, I just meant, given there's no getting out of this, is there?
Nuh-uh.
I'm gonna leave. Can I leave and then come back and I can do it again and be better?
You want milk?
Pardon?
In your coffee?
No, but you can spit in it if you want. I deserve that. Thank you. Do you want to go out with me?
What?
On a date?
Seriously, I just spat in your coffee.
Okay, so we learn a number of things there. There's this thing called meet cute. You've probably heard of when you have two eventual lovers meet, you do something cute with it. So we have this spitting in the coffee as a form of meet cute, but there's much more going on here than that. He recognizes her. She then, sort of reluctantly acknowledges him. And then he challenges her, you can spit in my coffee if you want. And she does it. So the question I always like to ask when I'm looking at a certain element in a film and trying to figure out what its function is how would I feel about this story or these characters without that element? How would we be taking in the connection between Cassie and Ryan and where it's going to go and all of that without the spitting in the coffee piece? Any of you, feel free to speak up at any point if you have an idea. I think it would not be as believable because she's a tough one. She has a lot of trust issues. She has a lot of just resentment, anger, et cetera. She's a complicated person. And as we will see, it's not going to be so simple for her to get involved with someone. So she does this act of aggression towards him, which is to take him up on his challenge. And we have seen already how she is very aggressive towards men with her escapades, entrapping these guys and pretending she's drunk. So we see her doing what she does, being aggressive toward this guy who was kind of a jerk, with his, what are you doing, working in a coffee shop? So she feels completely justified in doing so. And it's also a challenge to him. What does he do? He meets the challenge. And do you see how that kind of is setting the tone for how their relationship is going to unfold? Without that, it would just be, sort of a generic two people meeting and let's see if they can get it together. This adds this extra element. The next thing we have a decision that follows the, meeting. They meet and then somebody has to make a decision. So she decides to go to lunch with him. It goes on the character line. Okay, so we have a first act, point of attack, and a decision.
Are you firing me?
Maybe I should.
Look, you're making the assumption that I want any of it. If I wanted a boyfriend and a yoga class and a house and kids and a job my mom could brag about, I'd have done it. It would take me 10 minutes. I don't want it. I don't want it.
But you must want something.
Hey.
Oh, you, hi.
One coffee, hold the spit. She spat at my coffee last time. I'm back because I think you gave me a fake number the other day.
It doesn't sound like me.
I know. So I spent a few hours composing a very witty, very romantic text, and then I sent that text to an oil rig worker called Red.
Was he into it?
Surprisingly into it. It was immediately inappropriate, but it's not going to work out because of the oil rig. So I thought I'd try you again.
I just heard a phone ring in the back.
No, you didn't.
I most definitely heard a phone ring in the back.
She has to take a few imaginary calls a day.
Look, if you're not into this, totally get it.
I'm not really looking to date anyone at the moment.
Right, yeah. Me neither. Would you be interested in a friendship? And I'm secretly pining for you the whole time? Dating's horrible. Everyone's horrible. Okay, I went on a date last month with a woman who wanted to euthanize the homeless.
You went on a date with my mom?
Oh, look, I always liked you at med school, okay? I genuinely like you, and I can't stop thinking about you spitting in my coffee. So go to lunch with me this weekend, please. If you don't like it, we can have a safe word, and you can leave, no questions asked.
I love that. Can't stop thinking about you spitting in my coffee. So we're getting a little glimpse of what's drawing him to her. And he's also, making it very, very safe for her. Well, how about a friendship and I'm pining for you? And, we can have a safe word and all of this. And so he managed to finally talk her into having lunch. Yeah. So we've seen that, the decision and how it results in them going to lunch together. The next questions to establish a sort of framework of the structure. Where do we see a series of events that show things seemingly as bad as they can be, then things are worse, and then things are better? So this is describing the third act, and we're going to look at where we see that here. Anybody want to take a guess at when things are seemingly as bad as they can be?
Is it when Ryan turns out to have been at the rape?
That does function, but what we're going to look at right now is Cassie's death. Al kills Cassie. That's actually worse.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, I guess it would be worse.
Is worse than finding Ryan on the video, which is pretty bad, and we'll talk about that later. But Al kills Cassie is definitely, things are seemingly as bad as they can be. When do things get worse? Al and Joe destroy the evidence. See how things are seemingly as bad as they can be? Cassie's dead. That is really bad. But we need things to get worse for structural terms. Oh, they hide the evidence. That's definitely worse. There's not going to be justice here. And things get better when Al is arrested. And which line do they function on? They function on the action line because it's the big culmination of the story.